Spiders just shooting webs all the place. Entire screen was covered by webs and shit. Like, what the fuck is happening? I can't. And then those Tomahawk missiles, right? The gigantic missile that came and blasted everything.
Go get him, champ.
Seriously, look at it. Look at how many shit is happening in the background, man.
He has airstrikes. We're talking howitzers, cannons, bombers, gunners, orbital lasers, bulge lasers, whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, reaction. This is Earth Defense Force 5 review by SsethTzeentach. I love this shit. I remember this game. I remember reacting to Russian Badger video. And I think it was Earth Defense Force 4.1 something. I know what that was. But yeah, that was such a fucking good game. Gameplay mechanics were way too good. I distinctly remember that. All the game videos I've seen, this game really sticks out in my head. That's how good this was. All the fucking explosion, ridiculous mechanics, how the engine works, game's engine. I'm guessing they used the same engine for this one as well. This is a new one? No, this is from 2017. I guess it's newer than that video, I guess. So is this game same as the 4 one, Earth Defense 4? Because that was really good. So obviously Seth making this is going to be incredible. I remember, I'm pretty sure Seth said in the video that I hope Seth makes a video on this. And there you go. Yeah, look at that. That's always fun. Remember, if you like my so don't forget to subscribe so I know which type of videos to react tomorrow. Check out the next Sunday, there's a link in the season. And yeah, that's what we did.
Hey people, Seth here. I'm doing my part. Are you? The world is a bad place, and unfortunately, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. No, seriously, look out your window.
Spiders.
You are now a member of the Earth Defense Force. Yesterday, you were just a civilian forklift operator, / technician, / mall cop, / whatever this is. But regardless, God is coming back to Earth. He wants to make it a better place to live. A world free of pollution, free of microplastics, free of violence. Well, okay, not that one.
This is what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's 2 out of 3. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, free of humans.
It's the same game, man.
Need to go. Now, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna do your part. With conflict comes war, and with war comes the dreaded draft. But I've got a tip just for you. You can't get drafted if you get enlisted. Enlisted is a World War II themed multiplayer shooter with a strong focus on historical authenticity. We're doomed to repeat it anyway, so why not get acquainted with Enlisted's massive arsenal of weapons, vehicles, locations, and fortifications. With dynamic firefights always keeping you in the heat of action, you'll have plenty of time to learn. While many college professors would charge thousands of dollars for a history degree, you can personally experience the horrors of war for the low price of completely free. Just use my link in the description below or wait till the end of the video for a special offer. Earth Defense Force starts.
Yeah, Matt Damon probably thought in that movie that look at that, I'm creating such an emotional acting here. He had no idea it's going to become a meme, is it?
As an excuse for Sandlot to reuse assets from other projects. However, in their quest for fast cash, they discovered something. A new market force. The primordial human desire for increasingly dangerous insecticide.
This game is ridiculous, man.
Is no longer enough. We're living in the Garden of Eden, and the best way to defend it is to burn it to the ground. As such, every EDF game is just the last game, but slightly better. For example, the Ranger can now do this. This franchise is in a constant battle to upstage itself, and surprisingly, it's still working. This game is certifiably insane, in the best sense of the word, because nothing makes sense. So, hop in. We've got aliens to fight, but before you can play, you'll need to pick a class. Here's a simple test to find out the right class for you.
Out of your friends, which are you? Truck freak crazy ass. The fighter.
If you've never played EDF before, pick the closest thing to normality. For Ranger, every class shares one guiding principle. I can't see anything, and I have no idea what's going on. Thankfully, the Ranger has access to the standard issue EDF windshield wiper, the shotgun, which is only the beginning. EDF is a game of high.
That was my expression, the Russian Badger video. How he was fighting the spiders, just shooting webs all the place. Entire screen was covered by webs and shit. Like, what the fuck is happening? I can't. And then those Tomahawk missiles, right? The gigantic missile that came and blasted everything. This game is ridiculous.
Explosives and
it makes Just Cause like nothing.
C4, why stop there? How about C20?
C4's for bitches.
There we go. Now, go get him, champ. Much like the currency of Zimbabwe, the explosives of EDF have experienced hyperinflation because I have just unlocked C-70. Traditionally, tube-launched missile-based weapons platforms work by putting a rocket in a tube and then firing it out of a tube. However, this is no time for tradition. Reloading is for chumps, so we just cram like 5 in there at the same time. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, aside from small, unprovable changes in our reality. Each time you fire that rocket, Nelson Mandela dies on a different date. Each time you reload, the Berenstein Bears change once again. And each time you hit the target, you do no damage because this is a post-nerf reality. But that's okay. Explosions don't even scratch the surface of what a ranger can do. Snipe your enemies from afar. Minefield your enemies from up close. Annoy your team with DNG grenades. Weld the elemental powers of fire, acid, anime, and every flavor of Kool-Aid. Or the most powerful thing a ranger can do: change class. Yeah, sorry, I haven't been entirely forthcoming. If you're playing multiplayer, there is no reason to pick Ranger. And if you're playing single player, you know what? I completely respect that. You do you. Presumably, as a consumer of Japanese entertainment products, no woman is physically present, or else she would save you from your poor decisions, physically punching the copy of Persona 4 out of your hands and freeing you from the path of a child predator. But fear not, EDF allows you to look upon the visage of a woman from a safe distance. Introducing the Wing Diver. If you're a Philistine, you might be upset because they removed her titty window, but I've stared at this brapper for at least 50 man-hours, so imagine my surprise after 10 long years.
Yeah, certain characters are questionable apparently. I'm pretty sure Russian Badger also had to edit his own video, but I guess I reacted to it before that, so my video is somehow unedited. I don't know how YouTube didn't pick that up. I guess whatever. But seriously, when I remember this game, it's just, the more I watch it, the more I'm remembering, right? So certain artillery type of explosion is also ridiculous, right? Certain characters are way too OP.
She's finally wearing clothes. Let this be a lesson, fellas. If she says, "I'll be ready in 10 minutes," you've got plenty of time. Take a nap, do your taxes, read a book, but for the love of God, do not leave a car running. Trust me, the money you save will be well worth it. Why? You might even save enough to purchase all the DLC. Now, who needs healing? Yes, this is a completely necessary and unavoidable business expense, and I will be deducting it from my taxes. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, video games. The Wing Diver has a jetpack. The propellant is magic video game jet fuel, which has the non-Euclidean properties of a single Romanian, virtually infinite, and, given the chance, will asexually reproduce to maximum capacity. This also powers her weapons. Now, it may seem restrictive to fly and shoot with the same energy reserve, but don't worry, that's why they come with internal magazines, or at least they used to. But now some overworked, glue-huffing intern made almost every weapon charge and discharge, which is great for single-shot weapons, but for anything longer than that, it's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna be here for the next 20 minutes. There's no way to know this in advance. It's not a weapon stat. You have to read through the descriptive paragraph for every gun to find out whether it's magazine-based or magazine cringe. Life must be hard in Japan. Father, when I grow up, I want to be a UX designer. You bring dishonor to our family. No son of mine will ever create a good user interface. Get these notions out of your head. Now sit down for dinner. Your mother made your favorite tortured duck penis. Very nutritious. The Fencer could be summarized as, your motherfucking life ends 30 seconds from now. The Fencer is the polar opposite of a Wing Diver. He's going to kill you, eventually, given time. But he's slow, very slow. But who cares when you can dual-weld anything? Miniguns, mortars, missiles...
Ooh, wait a minute, isn't that guy... in the Russian Badger video, basically he's supposed to be this like a heavy tanky guy, right? With a very powerful weapons like miniguns and a hammer, basically making a space marine or whatever, right? Who can just melee big creatures. But only downside is that he's supposed to be slow because he just walks, can't even run. But there is an exploit, right? You can just dash or whatever, that basically jumps, right? And if you keep doing that, you can just be fast. So you're faster now, very strong melee, and you have the best firepower and tanky. That basically just OP as OP can be. That's this guy, right? I'm pretty sure. Seriously, look at it. Look at how many shit is happening in the background, man. I was surprised by this game. Like, how is engine taking all this shit? Because there are YouTubers out there whose whole job is to see how much crap can you put in a game using consoles or whatever just to break the engine, right? And people do that in Bethesda games and God knows other games. And there is always like, okay, if you put this much items in at one time in the screen, everything's just gonna get slowed down and crash. Let's Game It Out does that in Satisfactory. I guess he puts lots of different nuclear plants and God knows what, and the frame rate just goes down, right? So this is what surprised me. This game is fast action while having all this shit in the screen. How is engine taking this? So basically they probably made engine specifically for this game because they needed all this shit to work.
Melee weapons, shields, whatever you want. Just remember, I lied. He's not
There you
slow at
go.
all. You
Yeah.
get 2 slots for support equipment. So while the novice fencer veers around uncontrollably, the master fencer just instant transmissions to where he needs to be. I'm not a very good fencer because I have brain rot from all the hours I spent playing Air Raider. The Air Raider has guns, but more importantly,
Oh, laser, look at that. Yeah, I forgot about the laser. There's also that laser thing, right? Where you points like, target an area and then the laser comes and kills everything.
he has airstrikes. We're talking howitzers, cannons, bombers, gunners, orbital
There
lasers,
you go.
bulge lasers, whatever your heart desires. When something renders the game completely unplayable for anyone with screen shake on, you know it's good. EDF
Yeah.
is fully aware that griefing teammates by your very presence is a fundamental human right. So now, Air Raider has a third weapon slot, and more importantly, the 150mm cannon fire. This game will inform you the status of every single airstrike in the current airspace. That's the equivalent of telling me, a peaceful opium farmer in Iraq, that there's a Hellfire drone circling above me. Believe me, I already know. But hey, I know that when I'm incarcerated in a padded cell, I'll be comforted by the sweet sound of "This is DE-202. We're flying to cover the ground units again." Who you calling a ground unit? I'm taking to the skies. Never mind. The Air Raider has a wide array of vehicles to choose from, provided they haven't already been stolen by the Ranger. But I digress. Here's a quick warning on handling. Every motorcycle is completely unusable. The depth crawler comes in clutch for underground missions, but you might need a barf bag. And finally, the armor...
I mean, come on. You can have tanks, God knows what kind of weaponry, ridiculous weapon power, and you're going to ride around in a bike. I guess the developers just put the bike in just so, everybody can fail on the bike. Like, you want to ride bike? What's wrong with you? Okay. Man, seriously, I remember, in, I guess, 7-8 years ago, I don't know when it was the first time I bought PlayStation 4. And this is the time when Just Cause 3? Yeah, Just Cause 3 came out, right? It had problems on console, whatever, but I didn't face any problems. But yeah, Just Cause 3 came out. And, I never played this kind of a game, but in that game, there was a special weapon that you target a certain area with a laser, and a plane comes in and just drops lots of bombs or something. And I remember I used a PlayStation 4's coaxial port to, enable 5.1, whatever that was, right? And like I said, I've just, manually made a great 500 music system. And I remember, just targeting something very close by where I was standing, and the plane came and the bombs dropped. And the sound effect was so ridiculous. I still remember it this day. And I still remember, like, holy shit, this game is so ridiculous because of that. And when I see something like this, all those laser attacks, all those artillery attacks, how much explosions happening. If you played with really good, music system, like really good speaker system, and if you really play this in loud and in detail, God, this game could be, really like, you would never stop playing it, right? Which is why I kind of like, maybe I shouldn't play it, because if I get caught in that, I would never stop. But yeah, this game looks really ridiculous at that level.
Vehicle grape is what happens when you sand your tires for aesthetic effect. Coincidentally, the grape is the
Look at the
strongest vehicle in the
explosions and
entire
shit.
game. Speed versus armor isn't really a debate when a pack of spiders can unwind the fucking fabric of reality in about 3 seconds. The Air Raider is described as a support class because I support my teammates into the afterlife. You know what? No, I'm tired of these friendly fire jokes. I no longer wish to be this person, this agent of chaos. It's time to turn a new leaf. Deploy the Roombas. Every class has lock-on weapons, which reduce the risk of friendly fire. And Air Raider has a suite of tools to make them even better. Most of these you'll use once, realize they're absolute trash, and never touch them again. But How do you get these weapons in the first place? Boxes. Just like your unconscious roommate who's filled with delicious kidneys, every alien is a veritable piñata of goodies. Health pickups restore your health. Weapon pickups give you weapons, depending on a dice roll for some completely esoteric loot table.
Yeah.
And armor pickups give you +1 max health permanently. This system is garbage. It sucks. Nobody likes it. It makes zero sense. But EDF players aren't attracted to games that make sense. They're attracted to drywall and the taste of a homeless man's adrenaline as you chase him through the streets of New York. These new unlocks allow you to create a wide variety of team builds based on the situation. Finding out which situation you're in is a simple 2-step process. Do whatever you did last time and get annihilated by some horseshit. One brainstorming session later, and you'll figure it
Spider-webs
out.
are ridiculous.
Rinse and repeat until, much like my clothing, the unending tide erodes away your very being, until you are no longer a man, but a lifeless husk, driven by spite to beat just one more mission. This is especially true of a DLC, which replaces gameplay with cock and ball torture play. To aid your team's camaraderie in these dark times, EDF has the most extensive voice command system you will ever see in your entire life, and most of them have voice acting. Remember, we might have
Yeah, wait a minute. There was a character in our Defense Force 4, Russian Battle, which had a what? Anime type of sound, which was apparently the problem. That's why I edited or something, right? This game is ridiculous.
50-foot cruise missiles, but the greatest weapon of all is hope. When the situation is at its most dire, it's on you to ignite the fires of hope with song.
Okay.
Oh, we are the Alpha Team with passion and camaraderie. We are the Alpha Team with passion and camaraderie.
The game makes zero sense. Surprisingly, so does the story. This is a universe where everyone eats
story?
glue, including the aliens. However,
What
it's
the fuck?
imperative that you understand the plot. So, allow me to give you a quick rundown. So, first you're a civilian, but then giant ants show up, so they give you a firearm. But when you get to the surface, it turns out there's an all-out alien invasion. News commentators speculate on which country could be responsible, as if it's already well known that Russia or North Korea has like a few thousand battalions of ants ready to go. More importantly, you need to get to safety. Your sergeant is terrible at directions.
Oh god. Oh god. If really alien invasion does happen, that's what people would do. Which country is responsible? And then people will have some kind of a propaganda bullshit, right? Blaming others, having this kind of ridiculous theories. Nobody's doing shit. Everybody's in the Senate just arguing, right? Some of the right-wingers saying that this doesn't exist. This is just a propaganda by the left or whatever. Some of them, like QAnon type of people, just like, oh, this is certain Democrats are doing this and that. What the fuck? We are living in really fucked up time.
So, wherever you go, you're never safe. Suddenly, a new type of alien gets deployed. To paraphrase the game dialogue, I can't shoot them. They're just like us. And then you see what they're referring to, and clearly it is indistinguishable from
Look at
humanity.
that, that's so fucking
two
stupid.
arms, 2 legs, and a head. My God. It's a featherless biped. The resemblance is uncanny. Then these guys get
This is fucked up, man. Those frog type of giants shooting your gun towards you. That is a ridiculous sight. I love this game.
deployed and nobody says anything. Who's getting the best head? Post your comments in WeChat. And remember, Chinese Taipei belongs to the CCP. A giant battle takes place in Beijing, where it's rumored that humanity has some kind of super weapon. Also, Godzilla shows up. This is completely unrelated to the plot.
Oh yeah,
Beijing
Godzilla!
defeats the invasion and reveals
Oh, that was also the part of it, right? Pacific Rim type of shit. You have this robot and there's a Godzilla that you punch. Oh god.
their super weapon. Pollution. No, I'm not making that up. It's pollution. Aliens are weak to air pollution, and their blood contains microbes that scrub the
And
air
they're
of
dead.
all pollutants. Late
They're
game
instantly
also
dead.
introduces green ants that eat concrete and digest microplastic. Another kaiju shows up. Luckily, we have a giant mech for
There you
that.
go.
It turns out the
Pacific Rim.
aliens are working with giant bees. I have a small aneurysm and get back to writing this review. Science Lady gets desperate and turns to mythology. Apparently, ancient humans were created when God descended in an egg-shaped ship. She gets immediately gaslit by the radio operator, telling her, "That's ridiculous. We live in a real world, not fantasy. Get back to work." Oh yeah, also, we need to find the egg-shaped command ship and blow it up. A Pacific Rim
So, previous year or year before that, gaslighting, I guess, was the word of the year or something, right? I'm sure people are not going. If somebody talks any sense, you're gaslighting me. That's the thing.
Our fight ensues for reasons unknown. Then I spent free missions killing a walking fortress. I forgot why. Probably because my blood
head
alcohol
hurts.
was high enough to wipe out a family of 4. Or my mind was preoccupied because you shoot the mothership and it turns into a biblically accurate angel. And then God, capital G, descends to Earth. And what do? They try to arrest him. EDF tries to arrest God. And God resists arrest. So, naturally, we have to murder God. Yes, you kill God because...
This angelic creature descended. Wait a minute, you're breaking the law. Give me my... Here comes the 5-0. All the cars and shit just... This is so fucked up because this is realistic, right? If some ridiculous shit happen, people rationalize it with some other bullshit and will try to act normally. This is so realistic. That's how it would happen. Imagine if all this shit happened. People would be either in true denial or that's just how their brain works. They would just try to rationalize something, blame it on others, and just act normally.
After all, this is a Japanese role-playing game. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. And then, a New Vegas-style epilogue plays to tell you that 90% of the world's population is fucking dead. As for the remaining 10%, they're in India. Please remember, this is the same nation where a politician tried to prove the safety of the Ganges River by drinking its water. Immediately, he was rushed to the ICU. After hearing this, I hope you understand what I mean when I say that EDF is a parallel universe where Down syndrome is normal, and chromosomes work like Pokemon.
Yeah, that's the problem with religion, isn't it? Ganga, basically Ganges River, operator, right? It's a holy river, so it must be fine. Let me drink it. No, that's not how it works.
You collect them all, and they battle for dominance. To close off, I'd like to share a story. In elementary school, for some reason, they put a special needs kid
look
in the
at the
same class
explosions.
as
This
us.
is
He
fucking
really
ridiculous.
wanted to play with an action figure we had, but we didn't let him because, obviously, he's going to destroy it. So he shoved it up his ass, and now no one could play with it because no one wanted to. And also, we were really superstitious at the time. We thought that touching poop is how you catch AIDS. And for a pair of 8-year-olds, we were kinda half right. The homosexual apple does not fall far from the homosexual tree. EDF, unintentionally, reveals a deep-seated truth about the human condition. Aliens, if you ever dare invade our planet, we're gonna destroy it first.
Yeah, seriously.
Whoops. A 50mm Kampfwagen Kanonenshell just hit my neighbor. I know that because I've been playing Enlisted this entire time. And I need help. Join for free and use my link for free days of premium time and several orders for troops and weapons. Where are we dropping? Anywhere. Enlisted is available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation with cross-platform support. I'll see you on the front lines. As always, more content to come.
That's it. Yeah, okay. What he said is 1,000,000% true. If some kind of invasion happens, we will be the first to kill everything. Because I'll just paint a picture for you. An alien ship comes from light years away here. Clearly, they have much better technology than us. That's not even debated. So clearly, we don't have shit to attack them with besides nuclear weapons. So we'll use nukes on our own ground just to kill all these aliens. And what would happen is 90% of the population would be dead. That's what would happen. I mean, look at the current invasion. Look at the before and after photos of Ukraine. What shit has happened, right? I mean, yeah, 90% of the world would get destroyed. I'm betting 95%, not even 90. Right? 90 is still a hopeful thing. Yeah. God, this game is so good. Seriously, all this kind of an explosion. Look at all the lighting, right? This is the kind of thing that we want since, games have started to become a thing. See, beyond Tetris, people used to play Tetris like, oh, this is the game. And then look at that. Games are starting to look good. There's better games now. There's RPGs. Look at that. There is GTA 3 is now 3D, not in 2D. Just games started to become better and better. We just like, one day, what if something is seriously ridiculous? Something that is like, all the engine can basically take all these things. Apparently, there is a game like that, or the Defense Force. Because I was surprised with Just Cause 3. The explosion sound and how much explosions and destruction were happening. This game just takes that and amplified by 1,000,000. All the lighting and explosion happen. It's just like, what if there was an actual bombardment, artillery fire, and nuclear explosions were happening outside of where you are? How would it look? Basically, this is how it would look. Ridiculously bright, all the explosion, everything on fire, buildings are getting destroyed. Man, I love this game. Alright, well, that was our Defense Force 5 review by channel SsethTzeentach. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.